Hey guys, welcome back to JR14. Here I am with another car review for you guys today. And today, finally, I know you guys have been asking about this one, and a lot of you guys have been wanting me to buy one, which is a 2019 Volkswagen Golf R. Today we're going to be doing a full review on the Golf R. Before we get started on that review, I want to give a special shout out to Cherry Hill Volkswagen of Cherry Hill, New Jersey for allowing me to take out the Golf R and review it for you guys today. So without further ado, let's get on to the review. Let's get started. So why did I bring you the Golf R? Why are we here? Why are we doing a full review on the Golf R? Now that is true. A lot of you Mark 7 GTI owners are saying the same thing. Well, first of all, if you wanted to see that review on a 2019 or 2018 Volkswagen GTI SE, also provided from Cherry Hill Volkswagen, click in the upper right hand corner of the screen. The reason why we're reviewing the Golf R is because I never had the opportunity to drive an R compared to a GTI. A lot of people say that, okay, well, the R is much better in handling and power and everything. You know, I've upgraded suspension on my, as you guys know from the channel, I've modified my GTI. I've also worked on my GTI as well. Actually, I want to go ahead and take you through the differences of the Golf R. Now, actually, let's start off with the wheels. On a Mark 7 or Mark 7.5 GTI, you get 18-inch wheels with all-season tires. On an R, you actually get 19-inch wheels and you get summer tires. The summer tires are Continental Sport Contacts. They're not the best summer tire out there, but that is what Volkswagen recommends for this vehicle. Also, you do have a 19-inch wheel here. I think it's around 19 by 8 if I'm not mistaken. And also you do have the R brakes. Now there is no difference between braking of a GTI performance package and an R. The R would actually have the same braking package as a performance package GTI 7 or a Mark 7.5. So that's one of the things I actually really wanted to point out in the comparison of a GTI versus the R. But I'm trying to keep it civil. I'm trying to keep my mindset to just this review. So we do have 19-inch wheels instead of the 18s, and we do have summer tires, and we also do have dynamic chassis control, or DCC, which is adaptive suspension, which actually, from driving it a little bit so far, it actually is a little bit more firm, but we're going to talk about more when we take this thing out on the road. But let's go ahead and migrate to the front of the vehicle. Okay, so now we're in the front of the Golf R, and it's pretty cool because at the fact that you can see that there's a few differences here compared to the GTI. One, I mean, when you look up top, there's no difference except there's no honeycomb. Honeycomb is a GTI signature design in regards of like the trims and stuff like that, so you're not going to see any honeycomb in the design here. Actually, the only place that you might actually see honeycomb is in the actual headlights. But one major thing is that there's no fog lights, and the reason for that is you can put your hand through here. There's actually extra oil coolers on each side of these, so you actually have airflow going in here for brake ducting, and also there's two coolers on each side of these, one here and one on the other side, as well as the intercooler in the center. But you know, it's just for extra cooling, because this is the performance aspect of Volkswagen. The GTIs come, sadly, it's pretty much more of the affordable hot hatch, but this is actually the go-getter hard performance type of vehicle. So you do actually have those as well as there. And as you can see with the whole Golf R in general, it's really discreet. It's not too in your face. It's really on the sleeper side. It actually, if you don't pay attention to it, it actually kind of looks like a Golf. But if you really pay attention closely, you see little things like the R badge and the special. Again, remember what I told you about that Arteon that you saw in the last video? That black trim. Obviously, this is all black, so it's really incognito here in regards of what you get in regards of the design. But I like this. I do like the Golf R for the fact that it's complete good power and performance in the car, but however, it's in complete sleep mode. Also, I would like to point out that the Golf R definitely does have full LED lighting throughout the front end. So you have LED low beams, high beams, and daytime running lights, and also turn signals. Now, a lot of people are very curious, what does Golf R's cost? I hear some things of 50,000, 40-something thousand. The Golf R is not cheap. The Golf R starts at around 39,000. And it can climb all the way up to about 45,000 if you get it with DSG and a couple of options that you can add into the vehicle. This vehicle is actually 2019 Golf R with a manual transmission. So the price on this specific car is $41,950. Now that is a big pill to swallow, considering that the GTI Mark 7 or Mark 7.5 is roughly around, for the highest trim level of that is 36,000, and that's for the Autobahn edition with also with a dual clutch transmission. So is this worth the extra, what, $8,000? And most people will say no. Some people, including myself, thought it was no. But I believe that there's a reason why R's are selling, and there's a reason why R's are more favorable when it comes down to performance, and we're going to check that out right now. One thing I actually want to talk about is actually the drivetrain. So now we're not having front wheel drive. The GTI, as we all know, 7.5, 6, 4, MK4, MK5, mark this, mark that, doesn't matter. They're all front wheel drive in regards of a GTI platform. Now when you're going with an R is a little bit different. An R is front wheel drive on normal driving. However, if the front wheels start to lose traction, there is a rear diff called a Heldex. That's the name of their all-wheel drive system, as Volkswagen would call it, 4Motion. And that is basically where up to 50% of the power is transferred to the rear wheels. That's the major difference between an R and a GTI in regards of the difference. Now on an R, considering the fact that, and obviously, you know, obviously R's are limited in quantity. GTIs are made throughout all year, every day, all day. But R's are pretty much the type of cars where they're kind of a rarity to find, especially the one that you want. For instance, if I did get an R, it will be a pearl white with manual transmission and these black wheels right here as you see it. But unfortunately, we don't have those. So, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate because I've driven this car a little bit and it's been pretty interesting. Yeah, as we can see here, there's no longer those bulb headlights, those halogen bulb headlights. Now we have full LEDs for the brakes, parking lights, and turn signals, and reverse lights. Also on the bottom, as you can see with the R, from the last GTI video that I did, also you do have a new rear bumper, as well as a new rear diffuser, and now you have quad exhaust tips in the rear as well. And the cool thing about these exhaust tips is that they are actually valved. So when you put it in comfort mode or eco mode, it actually quiets the exhaust down and closes half the baffles. And then when you have it in sport mode, you actually do have the baffles do open up, and it gives you a little bit more aggressive exhaust note. Speaking of that, let's give that a listen, shall we? So you could definitely hear the difference between eco and, I'm sorry, not sport mode. In an R, it's called race mode. So that's the exhaust system. Let's move over to the front and see how this thing is powered. Now under the hood, you have a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo, 16-valve turbocharged motor, the special E888 motor that's been in all of the platforms of the new MQB platform, but this is the performance-oriented side of it, and you can tell by that R badge right there. The turbo is an IS38, so it's the top of the line turbo, as far as, like, for instance, the 1.8s have the IS12, the other 2 liters from GTIs had the IS20, and these have the IS38 like this in the Arteon. A couple of different things about it as well as horsepower. Horsepower is 288 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque, and that is going through all wheels instead of just the front wheels like we spoke about before. Another cool thing about this, if you're a little bit worried about having a performance car with warranty, Volkswagen does offer a new different type of warranty with all their vehicles. 6 years, 72,000 mile bumper to bumper, and I believe it's 7-year, 100,000 mile powertrain warranty. So that's pretty cool regarding the power and relations to the car. Now, one thing I did want to point out as well, on most GTIs, these are plastic. This is where the ECU sits. So here it's actually riveted in, so you can't really take this out at all. There's no way to really get this security box off of one of these, which is really weird to me. I really didn't understand why they did that. But on GTIs, you can simply just unclip it and it clips out. But on these are actually riveted in, and I believe this has something to do, possibly, I believe, with warranty. So don't try to take the ECU out of the car. That's just saying that. But you know what? Let's go ahead and jump inside and let's check out the interior right now. Oh, yes. 2019 Golf R interior. So a couple of things I could definitely say compared to my car. If you look at a GTI and you look at an R, they're almost relatively the same. When you really look at the layout at a brief moment, you really can't tell the difference. But then when you start really looking at the fine details, you kind of really understand, like, oh, okay, that's more different. For instance, the blue lighting on the door sills here, as well as on the rocker panels. So the front door cards actually have this blue lighting that you know, illuminates the cabin. On GTIs, they're red. Another thing is that you don't have a handbrake anymore. All Golf Rs come with an electronic parking brake, but I think this is something that's going away from the whole lineup of GTIs as well. Just got to give it some time. Also, you do have things like adaptive cruise control, front collision warning. You have all those safety features still built into the R, so you don't have to worry about safety. Now, one big gripe for me is that the R is not even offered with a sunroof. I guess Volkswagen really thought about that. They said, hey, this is a performance-oriented vehicle, no sunroof. We need the best body rigidity possible. And then they deleted the sunroof. Now, there's some controversy with this, and this is the armrest. So most Rs don't come with this open. Sometimes this doesn't open, but apparently it slides forward and you can open it, and there's storage inside. So I don't know if they just decided just to do that for 2019, but I know before, when Rs came out with the Mark 7 and early Mark 7.5s, this was a big annoyance to me. I did not understand why. Another good thing that's a difference between the Golf R and the GTI, I noticed this. The glove box inside is made it in here with felt rather than just hard plastic. Like my car, for instance, has hard plastic. And here you do have a you have a single CD changer with 2 SD slots, and you have storage for other SD slots just to store in there if you have multiple SD cards, but it has multiple SD cards. So you do have that as well. Here in the R, you only come with dual zone climate control. You know, I kind of do like this feature. I have a GTI and it has single zone climate control, where we have to warm up the whole cabin to 80 degrees or cool the whole cabin to 60 degrees. It's not one side or the other. So that's a little bit different with that. However, it's still pretty cool. Now, I do like the interior. I do like this. I do love the seats. Now, the seats are definitely different. Obviously the style of the seat's the same as the GTI, but you have this R embroidery inside the seat. You also have these little cutout squares for means that the leather can actually breathe. So this is actually perforated leather, which is also really cool. Also, you can get this with a DSG, 7-speed DSG. However, I prefer driving the manual because I like rolling my gears. You know, and you do have that as well. The cool thing I like about this center console as well is that the cup holder can actually close, and you can actually put coins in it or whatever, and then you can close it away. The GTI's actually stays open. I don't know why that is, but you know what? I'm not the auto manufacturer. But one really major hype that I really do love about this car, and I wish they implemented even to the new GTIs, you can't get this, is that virtual cockpit. It's customizable, it's very clear, it's engaging to see, it's very modern. I really do appreciate that. It really looks good. So I'm not gonna even hop in the back, because if you want to see how that is, you got to check that last video with the GTI. Relatively the same amount of space, but I do like the fact that one thing I want to mention is that even in the back you get the same perforated leather as you get here. But what I want to do now for you guys is I want to take this R on a drive and see if it's 100% worth it compared to the GTI. So without further ado, let's jump into 2019 Golf R and check out the performance. Let's go. First glance, you really can't tell the difference between an R and a GTI. But we're gonna learn today. All right, first thing I can definitely say is that, I mean, I've like compared to a GTI when you're just like in the car and just driving around, it actually feels pretty normal. This is how tall the shifter was with the GTI. This is the same driving position. I mean, literally, you would not know that you're an R at first glance. If you're not paying attention to like the badge here, there's only a couple places that you know it's an R. There's an R badge here. Instead of the aluminum trim, they actually have this piano black. It's a little too much piano black here, but you know, to each its own. And you do have the 4Motion badge here, and then you see all the trims. And you see all the trims in blue instead of red. first thing I noticed is the suspension. It's firm. Definitely firm. You know, and I don't know if it's because of the Contis that are on here or the 19-inch wheels, but compared to my car, I mean, I do have aftermarket suspension. It kind of feels like that, but you're kind of expecting like a softer ride with the newer car. But it is a track, it's not a track car, but it is a track inspired car. It is a performance vehicle, so it is going to be tuned for more on the firmer side. This should get daily still. It's no different from Dale ability, if that makes any sense. Day ability, whatever it is. Drivability every day. You can't take nothing away from an R compared to a GTI. It's literally the same. But what I want to do now is I want to give the car ahead of me some space, and I want to take this on some corners. So there's 5 different modes you can go from: eco, comfort, normal, and race. So we're going to put it in race mode. I want to turn off the traction control, stability control deactivated, and we're going to go ahead and it also, when you turn the traction control off, it disables all the front assist capability. So we're going to go ahead. Okay, so when I went around that corner, I wanted to just specify what happened there. So there is a difference. So again, I don't know if it's the tires or not, but the back kind of wants to come out like a rear-wheel drive car a little bit. And I'm not used to that. I mean, it's definitely... there as far as planability, like, without a doubt. But one thing I do like is the power delivery. The power delivery stock for stock, night and day. And IS20 has nothing on this turbo. Stock for stock. Hear little backfires in the exhaust, like little puffs of exhaust note, like. And this is good. Now it's raining, so most likely people would be disappointed, like, oh, my performance car, it's raining now, I can't really drive it aggressively. But you know, we have a performance car, and it's technically all-wheel drive, so it can really still might I say, wow. Oh, you could definitely feel it. Okay. Oh my God, this. Wow. Okay. So it does handle differently than a GTI. Just right there, I just felt it. A GTI would understeer. Right there, it would lose traction in a corner like that in the rain. But this doesn't get bothered. It's just hanging in there like a champ. I guess because my car has a short shifter in it from Forge Motorsport that this is so long. And it's buttery smooth. I mean, it's still pretty notchy, but I don't know, man. So the sound is different too. I don't know if you guys can hear that, because I'm sorry if you hear the rain. It's definitely raining out here, but you guys can definitely hear the induction noise is different. Now, I don't know if that's a sound actor pumping noise into the cabin, but it definitely has a different sound than a GTI. I feel more confident in this thing. Wow. How is it on like let's say like start stop, like okay, it's different. See, my perception of the R was completely the same. Oh, it's the same thing. It's not. They are very different. Yeah, they are the same body and same chassis, but they are very different in regards of handling. Even on the acceleration, there's no wheel hop. There's no wheel skidding around. There's no drama. It just goes. And if you put it in a corner like this, for instance, it's just going around it. Stays planted on the ground and it stays where it needs to stay. Wow. I'm impressed. All this time that this car was the same, and it's really not. It's very different. Should I buy a Golf R now? But I do love the fact of the security of the all-wheel drive system. Oh my God. Like, I could do this again. There's no... There's no slippage of any sort from the tires. None. None. That is incredible. Mind-boggling. Stupid. When you have a car that you've been driving for 2.5 years, like a GTI, oh my God, this is very different. This is very different. So, guys, I'm going to end off on this note here. I definitely recommend the new 2019 GTI. I'm sorry. I totally recommend the 2019 Golf R. This thing is completely, wow. I'm very shocked. Well, guys, I'm about to get off this right now. I hope that you guys did like my review. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe to JR14. And please give this video a thumbs up if you want to see content like this later on. So, guys, without further ado, later, and remember, guys, cars are a lifestyle.